Hi, it's Nicole Ron again, and I'm excited to come talk to you this fine day. Hello from Texas. I'm wanting to share with you about the BOGO oils today. So the first video I'm going to do is about Petitgrain. And when I use oils, I take into account that they have physical properties, they have emotional properties, and they even have spiritual properties. So that's a really fun way to approach your oils in a holistic way. And so I always think, okay, what is this going to do for my body, my mind, and my spirit? So today, the first oil I'm going to talk to you about is Petitgrain, and I'll do another separate oil on lavender so this doesn't get too long, and then you can go to the Petitgrain one when you want to learn about that, and the lavender one when we want to learn about that. And you can feel free to share these or save them in your archives. They'll be in my YouTube channel, the Essential Oil Unicorn Tribe YouTube channel that is a team resource for you. So if you didn't know about that, that is a resource that I have for our team. All right, so I'm Nicole Ron again, and I am probably, some of you know me, some of you don't, but my primary zone of genius when it comes to the oils is emotional support, because that has been the biggest impact in my life and in my family's life. So I started using the oils because we were chronically sick with acute things like colds and flus. We were just constantly sick. And then when we dug a little deeper and got that under control with the oils and boosted our immune system, we realized we had a host of unresolved emotional issues. And so that's one of the reasons I'm the most excited about Petitgrain, is because it is our oil of ancestry. So I'm going to tell you first some things that it can do on a physical level, and then why that would be important, and how, if you look a little deeper, how it's actually supporting you emotionally and spiritually as well. So Petitgrain is really, it's from the leaves and the twigs of the bitter orange plant. So the trees, the leaves and the twigs. Its main constituents are linalool, acetate, linalool, and alpha-terpenol. And so you might not know what that means, but those are the therapeutic compounds in the Petitgrain oil that doTERRA has. And linalool you might be familiar with because it's very similar to what lavender has and why it's relaxing. It's calming to the central nervous system. And so it's an alternative to lavender. Lavender is so commonly adulterated and turned into a synthetic fragrance that it can be problematic for people. And so some people, like my mother-in-law, for instance, are highly allergic to lavender, highly sensitive to it, but they might still want the calming and soothing and sedative properties of lavender. So Petitgrain is a great option for them. So speaking of properties, Petitgrain is an antidepressant, has antidepressant properties, antiseptic properties, antispasmodic, cardiotonic, so that's for the cardiovascular system, detoxifying properties, it's an immunostimulant properties, so stimulates the immune system, nervine properties, sedative properties, tonic properties, and uplifting properties. So it's great for the cardiovascular system, the central nervous system, and it is not only detoxifying and antispasmodic, like for those of us who got that horrible spasmodic cough. Petitgrain is our friend for that, but it's calming and sedating to the nervous system, but also uplifting to the mood. So it's one of those, like, it's a breath of fresh air. It's kind of like it's like when you take a deep breath and then your body says, oh, it's okay to get out of fight or flight right now. We're calm, we're safe, we're not being chased by the saber-toothed tiger. So when I first smelled it, it kind of smells like banana peppers or pepperoncinis, and it's kind of a little bit weird. When you're used to more of a floral or a citrus or a mint, it's a little odd, but it really grows on you, especially as you use it and it becomes part of your routine. Your body goes, oh, hello, old friend, and it becomes something that you really could crave. So some of the things that you could use petitgrain to support, we never say that it cures, prevents, or treats anything, but these are the things, like examples of what something with those properties like petitgrain has would be used to support. So if you had bacterial infections or wounds, you could apply it topically, or you could take it in a capsule that would boost your immune system. Like I said, if you had that spastic cough or congestion, you could layer it on your chest with maybe some other oils like lime or eucalyptus, things like that, breathe. Or you could take this internally in a capsule as well. If you had abdominal or muscular cramps or spasms, because it's an antispasmodic, it could help smooth those muscles out so they weren't spasming so much, and that could even be like menstrual cramps or digestive cramps. Same with things like convulsions or seizures. You could put that right on the back of the neck or the bottoms of the feet to support by utilizing the antispasmodic properties. If you had fearful or anxious thinking, it's a nervine, it's a sedative, it's a tonic, it's also an antidepressant, so it could help you get your thoughts back on an even keel. You could diffuse it or inhale it. Just cup it in your hands. In fact, before I got on this video, I just wanted to experience the feeling of petitgrain and lavender together. So I put a couple drops of each, rubbed my hands together, and inhaled, and just instantly felt grounded and calmed, but yet energized and ready for this video. Things like sudden anger, shock, or hysteria, you could use, again, inhaling from a cupped hand. We call those a healthy huff at our house. And that's important because a lot of us in our life will experience trauma or some sort of overwhelming stress. And so anytime there is a shock or something that knocks you completely off kilter and is unexpected, this would be a really great one. And you can also put it on, like, say you took a blow to the head. Bergamo's another one, frankincense that you could put right on your head. If you had body odor, you could use this to help your body. It would like cover up the smell, but it would also deal with like the bacteria that was causing the odor. You could use it for things like dandruff or oily hair, palpitations, or hypertension. So one of the things, because it's so supportive to the cardiovascular system, petitgrain is a great one to take in a capsule for people who experience irregular heartbeats, hypertension or high blood pressure, those kinds of things. It could support you, and you could utilize it with whatever your doctor prescribed as a support. So again, nervousness or excessive sweating, if you're about to give a presentation or do something that you're a little nervous about, you could wear this before, and it could calm your central nervous system down. This is beautiful, convalescence and loneliness, because it has antidepressant properties and uplifting properties, and yet, and I'll talk in a little bit about the emotional aspects of it, it'd be a great griever's oil. So something that you could give to somebody who's feeling lonely or sad or who's experienced a loss. So not only the shock and the trauma of a loss, but also the grieving aspect of a loss. For dry, cracked skin or acne, so it supports oily skin and dry skin, and it brings it into balance. If you were to have nausea or vomiting, you could take it in a capsule afterwards or apply it directly to your abdomen. Maybe if I was nauseous, I would put it in a capsule, but if I had already been vomiting, I'd probably just apply it to my abdomen. And the emotional balance it brings is from feeling conflicted to harmonized. And I will dive a little bit deeper into that. If you're wondering where I'm getting this information, it's from the Essential Life book. And I have a lot of experience working with these oils with my clients, and I really appreciate having a tool like petitgrain in my arsenal. Again, I said it was the oil of ancestry. So if you think about some of the things that that it helps you deal with physically, then if you know deeper, it helps invoke a deep appreciation for positive forms of ancestral knowledge, wisdom, and family history. We carry a portion of our ancestors' lives and stories within us, in our cells, so physically, emotionally, and then through inherited traditions and the things that we learn from our families. Petitgrain illuminates the eternal connection to all previous generations that weaves its way through the present generation and on to the next. It reminds individuals that it was by their ancestors' sacrifice they have the opportunity to experience this life. Petitgrain invites individuals to choose to honor the good that was inherited from their family and also make the path lighter for those who follow. And this is really interesting. So in this way, Petitgrain is also a great aid in healing a complicated family history, and that's where this has been very meaningful for me. In a lot of the emotional processing work that I've done, I've used Petitgrain quite a bit in radical forgiveness work and processing, because when you are little and you have a lot of emotional things come up, they kind of store as these unfinished memories, and then they can store in the cells of your body, and they get stuck there, and so you end up experiencing physical symptoms a lot to get your attention that your body is trying to release something. And so Petitgrain is beautiful because it helps you to process and have perspective and gain and glean the wisdom from it. So because it helps us accept the humanness of our ancestors and know that, they were working with what they had been given, and hurt people, right? And instead of avoiding the pain of the past, Petitgrain encourages thoughtful awareness of how to heal wounds in the family line. And this is what gets really exciting to me, because we're not stuck in, operating from that place of trauma and hurt. We can actually use these oils to assist us in releasing these stuck emotions. And then we're not passing them down to our families. We're changing those behaviors in the generational lines. And Petitgrain is the oil of ancestry. So, maybe when you saw this oil, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, like from a Muggle perspective world, view, where you're like, it doesn't smell very good. Lavender probably does the same thing. Lavender helps you, I'll talk about lavender in a different video, but it helps you know and hear the voice of your inner wisdom. But Petitgrain adds a deeper layer of like bringing it through, my wisdom and my life experience came through the filter of my lineage, mother's side, father's side, the grandparents, their grandparents. We have a little pieces of them all the way back to the very first people in our heritage, in our DNA. And so this gives you some perspective and some ability to heal around those things. So I'm not going to go into the whole thing. You can read about it in the Oils and Emotions book. This is the newest copy. It is available now through places like Oil Life and Aroma Tools, I believe. I don't know if it's on Amazon yet, but look around. You just Google it. It'll pop up wherever it's for sale. I highly recommend it. I use this book probably every day. And I love it because it's great for helping us in pioneering new work, chain breaking, cycle breaking, cultivating new healthy family traditions, and embracing positive family connections. And the negative emotions, it helps us from those times when we want to just disown our family and walk away. It helps us to not repeat the negative family patterns or feel duty bound to perpetuate those things, or be loyal to unhealthy traditions or situations, or dishonoring that. So it's a beautiful oil. And, a lot of grief stores in us, a lot of anger stores in us. And I love that Petitgrain physically supports those things, and then emotionally supports those things. And then the ramifications spiritually are that you actually have the power to forgive, and these aid and assist that. So forgiveness is always a choice, but when this can actually get in to your genes and unlock the way that expresses and releases the toxins of those stuck emotions, is a beautiful experience. So I hope this has been helpful. Maybe this is a different perspective than maybe some people have shared. Another thing too is people who are empathic and feel other people's emotions, this is a great oil to help for sleep, because a lot of times lavender is the oil of communication, which I'll talk about in another video. And that means that we might hear and feel the chatter from everybody. You know, some people can hear, you know, the whole universe, and it makes it hard to sleep. So lavender is actually like a illuminating one. I love lavender during the day, but when I want to get some sleep, it's nice to have that, you know, high dose of linalool in the petitgrain to help me sleep. And magnolia is another one with high linalool as well. So it's nice to have options for sleep that we didn't have before. We had to like use like a combination of like cedar wood and wild orange and balance and kind of get it just right. And now, you know, we've had the petitgrain for a while now, so it's great to have options. So if you're wondering, you know, why do I need this oil, I hope that that's given you some food for thought. If you have anybody in your life who could use some uplifting, some forgiveness, some cardiovascular support, skin support, emotional balance, sleep, and some perspective on maybe the things that they've experienced in their life and in their family history, petitgrain is a wonderful option. So happy BOGOing, and I'll post another video about lavender pretty soon.